How about this game, Mr. Vladimir Kramnik? How to play the killer Najdorf by Jose Martinez against none other than the legend Magnus Carlsen in Title Tuesday, November the 5th, 2024. A very recent game that's been played in Title Tuesday, which some players call it Cheating Tuesday. And the player of the black pieces, Jose Martinez, has been accused of cheating several times by some players, which I don't name them specifically in this video, but I will tell you that Jose Martinez has been inspired by the legendary Garry Kasparov for this game. And if you don't know what I mean, and if you don't believe me, please watch the video till the end. Let's go and watch this marvelous chess game. Magnus Carlsen starts and kicks off this game with the king's pawn move like a king, and Jose Martinez plays the Sicilian defense like the legendary Garry Kasparov and Bobby Fischer. Knight comes to f3, d6, and Magnus opens up the center, takes, knight f6, and knight to c3. And here we go, the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian defense. Let's see what Magnus cooked for this game. And he played f3. Is he going to play the English attack with bishop e3, queen d2 and long castle? Let's see. e6. Some players these days plays e5. Many players actually plays e5. But the way that Garry Kasparov played against this English attack was this line, playing e6, and after bishop e3 he plays b5. He starts a queenside attack right out of the beginning, and he wants to put pressure on the white pieces and on the white king. a3 is a move to prevent b4, but now h5. Black also prevents g4, like white prevented b4, now black prevents g4. Queen to d2, knight to d7. Both players are playing pretty fastly, castle and bishop to b7. Look that Jose Martinez, which his rating is 3041, and Magnus is 3322. Oh my god, such a rating. Jose didn't develop his pieces. His bishop is remained on f8 and his king is in the center. So what he's going to do? King to b1 by Carlsen and rook to c8. Sometimes he might consider rook takes c3, and overall black has some pressure on the c line. Rook to g1, and here it comes, knight to b6. This is a fantastic move. Black wants to start some knight c4s, and he still keeps his bishop on f8. Queen to e1, so Magnus probably wants to have some control over the h4 and g3 squares. Maybe he wants to play queen g3, let's see. And here bishop e7, and he plays pawn to g3. So he might say to me that no, you are dumb, because queen e1 is mainly played because to prevent knight c4, and now I want to play bishop to c1, and knight c4 is no longer with the threat. So it makes sense. Bishop e7, and he plays g3. In the long run he wants to play h3 g4 maybe, I don't know, but here Jose plays knight d7. This is how Kasparov had been played this line, and he wants to put his knight on c5 maybe, h3 and knight to e5. No, he says no, you're dumb, I'm playing knight to e5. Sometimes this knight goes to c4 if I'm not mistaken. Bishop to here and queen c7. With queen c7, this is the great move of the position. This is the only move. Maybe white has some f4 threats with the idea of e5 and other ideas, of course. Queen to c7, a very good square in Najdorf. g4 and knight to c4. Now black has some threats of knight takes a3, and after takes back, queen takes c3 is coming. Bishop takes c3, knight takes c3. Once again there is knight takes a3, and here he plays knight d2. This is why Magnus played knight d2. There was another option like g takes h5 recommended by Stockfish Engine, and there is another option by rook d3. But knight e2 allows black to play not g6, but to play something like h4 to close the king side first, and then he might consider some opening up of the center by d5, or sometimes even e5 when g6 has been played. But in the game, Jose played g6. He clearly wants to play e5. He wants to kick this knight away, and then he wants to attack this c2 square. b3, and knight comes back to b6, and now c3. And look what Magnus Carlsen done to his king. This is because he's seeing this e5 threat, and okay, like let's just play a nonsense move. Then we play e5, and if knight goes away, then knight takes a3, and then queen takes c2 check, and black is completely winning. So This is why Magnus is hesitating in this position after g6, and he plays b3 and then c3. He just wants to protect his king. But now comes e5, and here the typical break, d5. And Magnus is completely lost in this position. He plays queen g3. f4 was a little bit better, but this is a losing position. And as love is a losing game, this position is also a losing game, because whatever you do in this position, you are going to suffer a very, very, very painful defeat. Queen to g3, d takes e4, and now f4 by Carlsen. He knows that if he takes back, this bishop comes to e4, and it's game over. He just plays f4, bishop comes to d5, attacks this guy. Carlsen thinks that he can protect it, but here comes another surprise. Bishop takes b3 by Jose Martinez. He wants to do lots of things, so Magnus takes it, queen c4 check, and here queen takes e2. A very simple tactic. Some players may doubt that this is by the help of engines, but I'm quite sure that Jose Martinez is a very, very strong chess player. King to b1, knight a4. He's a very good blitz player, and this is how blitz players are playing chess. Knight to e3, queen check. And after king to a1, here he could have just played knight takes c3 with the idea of checkmate. If bishop b2, there is queen a2. If rook b2, check, and this is checkmate. But under pressure, or maybe out of excitement, he just took rook takes c3, and then he took here, and then he just traded the queens. And here Magnus Carlsen resigned this game. So this is how you can play against these English attacks in Najdorf. I didn't cover it in the previous videos. Now you can go and watch, after this video, you can go and watch other videos of Najdorf. I think it's 8th or 9th video of the series. You please write down in the comments. And please like the video also. This is a very, very flexible setup by black, h5 to prevent it. And then you start your game. I mean, around here the position is good for white. And here, I guess it's from here that the problems started. Computer suggests something like knight b3, bishop d4. But no human plays knight b3 here. I mean, h3 is a human move, bishop c1 is a human move. But here Carlsen's main mistake was to play this knight d2. Maybe rook d3 was a better idea. Or computer says g takes h5, and after knight takes a3, you can just trade queens. And Magnus Carlsen, you know you're very good in endgames. And here even h6, a very important move. If you take it, I suppose that there is a bishop b2. A takes or g6, both bishop b2. This long diagonal can be a very efficient diagonal for white. But what about this game, really? What about this game, guys? How do you think about this player? He played a perfect game, perfect attack. This e5, d5 in the center was great. And it clearly shows us that Najdorf variation is still playable, and clearly shows us that Jose Martinez is a very, very decent player and clean player. And he can be one of the best in chess, especially in online chess in near future. I hope you enjoyed it. And if this is the case, please just like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Enjoy chess and life.